Yeah, so we have one case pending right now involving Cobb Center. So Cobb Center was a group home that was owned and operated by Children's Home Society. It was a state licensed group home.
Children's Home Society, okay.
Exactly, right. So it's over in Seattle. And so Cobb Center initially had two group homes. So he had Cottage A and then Cottage B. One of them was for older children, the other one was for younger children. And so right now we have a case involving an individual who was in Cottage A. He was raped in 96, 97 by a staff member who was raped by, no, he was raped by a staff member who raped the person who we represented initially in the first case.
Okay.
So same guy, name is Greg Deere, bad guy, and so we're now just tracking him down again, gonna get ready to depose him and hammer away.
So Cobb Center is one of those cases that every time we think that we know the three worst detention facilities or group homes that you have to reevaluate because you read records like we've read in Cobb Center, right?
Right.
Which are horrible.
Exactly, right. So there's plenty of documentation of, kids being abused at Cobb Center. The state knew about it. There was an investigation in about 96 where there was a staff member who raped two children there, and then he eventually pled guilty to raping those two children. So there's plenty of documentation of abuse happening, and now it's just about us tracking down more victims and just, representing them and getting justice.
All right, what's stunning is how many people will go through facilities like these that have got, savage predators, and knowing that if there's 50 people or 75 in any given time period, that there were like dozens and dozens who've been sexually abused, right?
Right, exactly.
That's what we're seeing at Cobb Center.
Right, exactly.
So one of the things that we always try to do when we get a case like this is figure out how bad it was, figure out how many perpetrators there were, and then get an understanding of how many people might have been affected by it, right?
Correct,
Right.
exactly.
So Cobb Center is going to be one of those that continues to blow our mind as we understand the breadth of the abuse and how many people were affected by it.
Right, and we're certain that there were dozens of kids who were abused by some of the staff member there, because there were 20 plus kids that were placed there at a time. And so we know that there was a period of at least from 1970 up until the early 2000s where staff members were abusing some of the kids there. Kids were reporting the abuse to some of the staff, and staff were just completely ignoring it, and then find out later that these staff members pled guilty to raping boys.
Right. And there's no such thing as a predator who's only abused one kid or only abused two kids. In fact, the stats show that a conviction is preceded by dozens, if not hundreds, of abuse events before it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's why this one stuns us, and we have created a landing page, right?
Right, we have.
And the landing page helps provide some of the background information, some of the documents, and some of the information, especially for people who were Cobb Center residents or people who know former Cobb Center residents. We hope that this is a big help.
Right.